Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, since this is my first video, I figured what better way to start than with a blank canvas to show you how I go from nothing to basically a full fleshed out sketch concept. So what I'll usually do is I'll start off with whatever idea I have in my head and I'll just kind of start drawing a basic skeletal structure down. I use blue line since that's what I was used to when I did stuff for comics. We did a lot of blue line pencil, and we'd go over it with graphite before we do finalized pencils and go to inks. So here I'm doing basically the same thing. I kind of just make a blue line skeletal figure. Doesn't have to be perfect. Even if the proportions are kind of off, it doesn't really matter too much. I'm mostly going for the pose, the gesture, making sure it fits right within the canvas, that it's not sitting, off center of the frame, unless I wanted to do that. But for this right here, I'm mostly just focusing on the pose and making sure that it's in the right proportion, in the right area, that I'm going to have a good kind of framework to work with. So once I'm done with the skeletal structure, or at least happy with it, no artist is ever really happy with anything they do, and if they are, they're lying. I'll move on to working with redline, and this is where I start to kind of put in my more defined muscular structure. So this is going to kind of show me how the character, how the figure is going to look before I render it. And this all happens pretty quickly. So that first step, I don't think I took more than a minute or two just to get a basic gesture pose down. Really, new artists, they usually skip that first step, and that's where you see your perspective, your proportions can be kind of off. I'd say if you are just starting out, definitely don't make the same mistake I made growing up and skip this step. I've been drawing since I was 2, and you know, when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I thought, yeah, hey, I've been drawing my entire life. I know it all. I can skip all these steps. And there were these artists that hadn't been drawing as long as me, um, and they were doing much better work. I'm not gonna lie. I was getting left behind because I thought I was too good to follow, a little bit of extra work to do some extra steps to make sure that my drawings were at a professional level, and it kind of affected me, especially through college. So definitely do not skip the boring stick figure gesture line part. It will help you in the long run. So here I'm using what I know of anatomy. I do have an anatomy degree, um, to start building the form. I'm not necessarily drawing in every single exact muscle group, and there are different techniques artists use. Some of them do the whole, circle for shoulders, cylinder arms, and there's no wrong way. There's no one way to do it to where you say, oh, if you do it like this, you're gonna have a much better drawing, or if you don't do it like this, you're gonna mess up. Find your own technique, find your own style. Mine personally, I like going from a blue line stick figure to basic messy muscle structure. And keep in mind, this is all just basic idea. This doesn't mean it's going to be finalized. Even at the end of this video, whatever final sketch I have, stuff will probably change. I'm constantly erasing away, or since it's digital, Control Z at times, and changing stuff. Nothing, hardly anything ever stays exactly how it is. So I might speed it up here a little bit since I don't think you need to see me drawing this whole thing in real time, but I am going to keep as much as I can without any cutaways because, you know, it's nice to see somebody's process and how they draw. So for this, the idea that I had, oh, see, look, I already, I can tell I put that forearm way too far out there. Yep, erase that away. Yeah, I wasn't liking how this arm was turning out, so just redraw it till you get it right. So anyway, the basic idea for this, and oh, I think I should mention at this point that I am a dark fantasy, horror, and erotic artist. So if you are bothered by that kind of thing, this channel probably isn't going to be for you. I'm obviously not going to be posting any not safe for work stuff, but the majority of what I do is not safe for work. And some people may find it ideologically sensitive. Anyway, this drawing, the basic idea was I wanted to do something based on classic Renaissance paintings of the Archangel Michael standing on a defeated Lucifer. Only the other way around. So you can see where this is going. This is going to be the devil, Lucifer, whatever, Hades, whatever name you want to go by, crouching over a defeated Michael. And I wanted to do something kind of animalistic to show a more bestial side, not so static, just, standing on his head or, holding a spear over his chest. I wanted to show real contempt. I guess you could say victory, a defeated Michael underneath the claws and, heavy foot of Lucifer. But this also coincides with my book series, which, again, I am a horror artist. I'm also a horror writer. I have a book series out there called Hellverse, which I'm working on the third one. Yes, I have two out so far. The third one, anyway, right now. And it's kind of a mythical retelling, almost a prequel to where our gods, monsters, devils, demons, where they all come from. So it's not just limited to Christian ideology or any singular pantheon. There's a lot of gods, multiple gods, and even this character that I have of Lucifer here, his name is Azrael in the books. Again, I'm a big fan of kind of repurposing things, taking an original take on a established concept. Not really so much like a remake, but a retelling of something that hasn't been told, I guess you could say. Pretty much what happens millions of years before our creation. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent on my own book series mythology. But yeah, that's the basic idea. And just something I'm kind of playing around with here, just getting this pose down. And for those of you that are interested and sounds like something you might want to check out, I will leave a link in the description to both books, which are available on Amazon. So, moving on, now it's time to start sketching the Archangel Michael, or as I call him in my books, Moloch. There's a reason for that. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of cross mythology. But again, on the art side, I'm drawing him in purple lines since he is a different subject, a different figure in here, and I want to keep them separated out. It's one thing to draw everything in real life with pencil, graphite, and you see everything in one kind of tone. One thing I do like about working digital is that I can kind of play around with different layers and erase things away, and it's not as messy. I do still draw traditionally. I do still sketch things out. That's not ever going to stop. But if I'm working on something digital from start to finish, I just prefer to work completely in digital. Yeah, see, already noticing making mistakes and not have to worry about eraser shavings or anything like that. There is, it does kind of lose something when you're working digital completely, though. You do lose that artist to art, I guess you want to say, connection feel, like working on a canvas. But damn if art supplies aren't more expensive than ever and kind of hard to find, not gonna lie. Still, I do encourage everyone that has either been drawing for a while or wants to get into it, no matter your skill level, get a drawing pad. Practice every day. Don't let this advent of AI. Yep, I was gonna bring it up. I figured, why wait? Why wait until my whoever knows how many videos to talk about AI? AI is not art. I'm sorry. Typing words in a prompt box is not the same as actually drawing for real, getting whatever idea is in your head and putting it on paper or digital canvas or whatever medium you use. It doesn't matter, honestly, as long as you're actually doing it yourself. And a lot of the excuses I hear is, well, AI allows me to take my ideas and put it through a system, an algorithm, whatever you want to call it, and it's still my ideas. I'm the one creating it. Well, that's the thing with ideas. Having ideas doesn't make you special. I'm sorry. And if that bothers you, then this channel also is probably not for you. Having an idea is not what makes someone an artist. Being able to take your idea and translate it with your own skills or talents, whether natural or learned, studied, whatever, however you come to be an artist, that is what makes someone an artist. Now, what actually is or isn't art is subjective. That I'm not going to get into. But being an artist is, I'm sorry, it is not typing words into Midjourney or whatever AI programs are out there and waiting 20 seconds for an image to pop up. I don't see how anyone could defend that unless you just lack the skills to actually draw or are so against actually drawing that you have a disdain for actual artists, which they're out there. There's a lot of AI users that are out there, so that hate artists for some reason. They think we're elitist gatekeepers when really, as you can see here, this is not taking me that long to draw, honestly. I think I spent about 2 minutes on the blue line sketch, maybe I want to say, well, 15 minutes. The video is sped up on the muscle structure, and now I'm working on basically the finer details, not the finalization. This is just what the characters are going to look like. But anyway, yeah, get a drawing pad, go out, practice in real life, draw for real. Don't rely so much on crutches. That's not to say you can't or shouldn't practice by, and brings me back to another argument AI users say, copying other art. Yes, I grew up drawing a lot of Spawn comics, and I studied a lot of painters. A couple of my favorites were Boris Vallejo, Julie Bell. I read a lot of heavy metal magazine growing up, a lot of Spawn. Again, a lot of horror stuff. Louis Royo was another favorite of mine, and I redrew a lot of their stuff just to kind of study what I was comfortable with doing for my own style. And that's really how you build a personal style. It's, yes, I get it. Everybody copies something, but at a point, you hopefully the goal is to develop your own style. Like, however I'm drawing here, I have seen a lot of other artists on YouTube, on social media, in real life that I know that don't draw the way I do, and I've seen some that do. I've seen others that start with light values, others start with boxes and cylinders. Whatever is most comfortable and works for you is what works for you. As long as the final outcome that you are looking to create is what you're happy with, is what you want to create, then awesome, great. That is your style then. Like, this is my style. Say it's a combination of when I worked in the comics industry, there was a huge emphasis on, muscular males and sexy females, which I hate to admit has been kind of lost in this day and age. Everything is so representative of the modern world and what we see every day that a lot of the charm and magic has gone away. So I'm from that. I don't even want to say old school, because it really wasn't that long ago. But I'm from that mindset of trying to create body types and characters and art that is inspiring or inspires me, that doesn't necessarily have to reflect what I see every day. Because if I wanted to see that, I would literally just go outside. So, a little bit of a tangent there. Yeah, do whatever's comfortable for you. And if you do want to draw stuff that is more representative of real life, what you see every day, then do that. Because this brings me back to art being subjective. That's still art. If you want to go out and draw your friends, draw people, study that, and not do any fantasy, then by all means do that. Not everyone needs to do the same thing. I choose to do what I do because I enjoy it. This is what I actually enjoy doing. As long as you're actually trying it yourself and not typing a bunch of words that are essentially pulling pixels off of other people's artwork. So, yeah. That said, one thing to notice too that here, since I'm drawing this staff here, it brings me on to style and technique. So when I'm drawing people, animals, creatures, anything organic, one thing to keep in mind is we do not have any straight lines. If you look at your average person, lion, tiger, bear, oh my, anything in the animal kingdom, save for maybe some insects, but even then, they don't really, you don't find straight lines that often in nature. So if you're doing stuff more natural, try to curve your lines as much as possible. I do see this a lot with newer artists, especially people that start drawing anime. Now, before you start knocking me for saying stuff about anime, I actually like anime when it's done really good. Like, good manga can look awesome. One of my favorites, the old Vampire Hunter D movie, or Ninja Scroll. There's this other awesome one. Well, oh god, Jinro. That's right. I want to say Killzone helmets. Yeah, Jinro. Great animation. And even if you look at those, they don't use a lot of straight lines. A lot of the cheaper stuff will use straight lines for arms, legs, hair, I guess. Even if hair is straight, you still want to put some kind of movement to it to liven it up a little bit. Now, if that's your style, I have seen a lot of artists that do a lot of straight line style, like, was it Clone Wars years ago? And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. If it's a stylized thing, then by all means, go for it. Do it. But if you're looking at doing kind of life drawing or more realistic anatomy, even if it's not 100% photorealistic and it's still kind of cartoonish, avoid drawing straight lines. Like, I'd say mine is somewhere of a cross between, I don't know, like Western comic book style with classic European painter, or at least that's what I'm trying to go for. Whether I succeed in that or not is a whole different story, but that's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. And, you know, I told my wife this not too long ago that Yoda from Star Wars is full of crap. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah. Do or do not. There is no try. No. There is always try. Always, always, always try. You're not always going to succeed, but that doesn't mean you should quit. Try. Always try. Besides, I've been more partial to Vader and the Sith anyway. Not really a fan of the Jedi. As you can see here, yes, I am drawing an archetype of a devil character. Not really the devil. Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, stabbing what's going to be a tentacle winged angel. Yes, not feathers, tentacles. Because love me some tentacles. I think that harkens back to my H.P. Lovecraft kind of influence. Big surprise, right? Someone like me is into H.P. Lovecraft. But yeah, always been into seeing villains as being more sympathetic. Not all villains, obviously. I'd say growing up, I was more into the Decepticons. They kind of got a raw deal. Not so much Cobra Commander. He was kind of a douche. But definitely, hey, you know what? Maybe this will get some guaranteed comments. Yes, the Empire did nothing wrong. I'm sorry, but I like job security. Oh, anyway. Yeah. Now that these lines are kind of getting to where I want them to be, as I'm drawing this, I'm even noticing where I'm kind of going wrong, where my perspective is kind of off. But I'm not going to worry about that until I start to work on an actual final version. So the next logical step is to move on and start working on the background. That's one thing with artists, especially those of us that have been doing it for a while, is we tend to fixate on one specific area and work and work and work and just overwork it to the point where we lose focus of what we're doing. I was very guilty of that in my early days, where I would over detail things. I would worry about, oh, this hand doesn't look right, that hand, like I can look right now, that front hand, maybe a bit too big. And yeah, if I just sat there worrying about one little part of the drawing, I wouldn't get done. So as you can see here, I I saved it and I moved everything up a little bit, since it was a little bit too low to the, I want to say low to the canvas, low to the image edge, and it was cutting off at the bottom of Moloch's head there, and I wanted a little bit of space to play with. So I moved everything up and decided, oh, time to start drawing in those tentacles. And I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to keep them the way they are, but I want something to show struggle, movement. Maybe one of them wrapping around his leg, maybe even one kind of like severed and bleeding, you know, the white translucent angel blood that they have in my books. But yeah, just kind of playing with movement here, and at the same time keeping an eye on those proportions. And man, I really screwed up on his hands there. Hands are one of the hardest things to draw, and that is very true for any artist. But once you can get it down, you can pretty much draw almost anything. And a lot of us, especially if we're on a time crunch, I'll just kind of put placeholder hands. It doesn't mean that that's going to be where they are, how they're posed, but definitely. Oh yeah, I can see that. Look, that top hand there is way too small for how big that bottom hand is down there. I gotta fix that completely. That's not going to be in the final version. But yeah, if I just stayed on one area and just overworked it, I would not get this whole thing done. And that will cut your drawing time down quite a bit if you just move on. Move on and fix it later. Just get the big picture done. Too many artists spend too much time worrying about the tiny section that they're working on that they forget, exactly what, their goal is with their drawing or painting. So like, oh yeah, to recenter it since it wasn't centered right and getting that background in. Even though I know I'm going to change stuff, this is still a concept sketch for me, and a lot of stuff's going to change. Like, I like the basic pose, I like the idea, I like the struggle. I think it could be a little bit more dynamic. That leg facing down and the one coming up, I could probably work on the hip placement a little bit better, maybe make them crouch a little bit more, but it's worth the 1 hour I put into working on this to get something down that will save me a lot of time in the long run. So I used to spend, I want to say, oh God, maybe 8 to 20 hours on a painting, depending on how crazy it was, how much was going on, how detailed it was. And a lot of that wasn't even just actual drawing. A lot of that was just figuring out where the hell stuff's going to go and how the light was going to work. Lighting's a big thing. And changing things around. That's the worst part, is once you're 10 hours into a drawing and you're not liking how it's turning out, do you abandon it or do you keep going? Because, there's clients waiting on you. If it's a paid gig. And I did have a lot of clients. I worked with a lot of bands. I'm still working with a lot of bands or private commissions. And, it's not their responsibility why you're taking so long for something. But you have to keep in mind that you need to finish stuff. And this process will help things go a lot quicker. Just don't worry so much about where you are in a drawing. Just get it done. Just get the whole thing. Even if you got to draw thumbnails, I used to do that sometimes too for clients that wanted, for clients that didn't really know what they wanted, and you'd hate to spend 3-4 hours on something, and next thing you know, they tell you, oh, that's not really what I wanted. I kind of wanted this. Do thumbnails. Most of them that I found that are easy to work with, that understand, are okay with kind of the thumbnail sketches. And, you have to let them know, hey, once I start, getting significantly into this drawing, this painting, it's going to be hard for me to go back and start completely over from scratch. So make sure this is actually what you want. So this process here really helps visualize what they want. And a lot of clients nowadays, which, you know what, I'm going to go back to AI, and I'm okay with this. I've had people send me AI pictures based on what they want me to do. So they don't want to use the AI itself. They do want to support and hire a real artist. And I appreciate that. I have no problem with them using AI for concepts. I do have a problem with people using AI for profit. That is directly taking off the backs of actual artists. And I don't mean like it's taking jobs or work away from us. I mean it's literally taking our work that has been trained without our permission. And if you start doing work, creating art for people, or if you're already an artist doing that, there is a website called haveibeentrained.com where you can take your work, upload it, and it will tell you if it has been trained in any AI databases. And I think it's been updated to show you where your work is being used too, so you can put in a DMCA, like stop and desist kind of thing, which I've had to do with, I want to say 5 paintings so far. Not a whole lot, but you know, one is already too much. So let alone 5. Yeah. But anyway, back to this. Working on the background here, which I don't know if it's going to be a portal or a black eclipsed sun, but you know, just something dark, ominous, spooky, not friendly. And yeah, that's how I come up with doing basic concepts. Is I have a basic idea and I put it down and just kind of just start drawing. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, this is just my first video. I don't know how often I'm going to be uploading. I'd like to plan on at least once a week. I'm going to try to do maybe some like tutorials, faces, heads, arms, creature design, character design, and kind of show some other work I'm doing. I don't think every single thing I'm drawing is going to be a beginning to end video. Yes, I'm probably going to be skipping some steps in the videos. This one already is taking a lot of time. So don't expect everything to be a blank canvas to finished product. Just putting that out there. But it's mostly just to share just kind of stuff I'm working on and showing different techniques and styles, since I don't stick to one way of doing things, especially when it comes to digital. I'm always looking for new ways to kind of expand what I do. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Take care. Have a good one.